So today we are looking into the camera settings of an iPhone 12 Pro. In one of your desktop screens, I have a lot of software on here, you will find the settings button. It looks like this. And in there you can scroll up and down in the settings until you find the Apple software section here that comes on the phone, where you have like Apple Music, TV, photos and those kind of things. And there's one that's called Camera. If you go into Camera, you have a lot of settings for the camera in regards of taking a photo or for video. A video is separated in two, really, the slow motion section here and the regular video section. The slow motion is fine if you go in here into slow motion. You either do 120 frames or 240 frames per second. The 240 will run you a lot of memory, as you can see down here, where the 120 does not so much, and it still does a good slow motion. The record video section here, that's where it gets interesting. Down here is an explanation what version is good for what, but if you have a slow PC, for example, you may not want to go 60 frames a second. Maybe you want 30 frames a second or less. If you do 4K, or by default it will go down here to the 1080 stuff, where it's even less memory usage and also a good quality of video. Like many YouTubers only upload 1080p. 60 frames if you want to do some slow motion stuff in there a little bit, slowing down the footage by 50% in your tool, in your editing tool. That then you would do 60 frames a second if your computer can handle it, right? The same with 4K. So I, for example, always run 4K 60, so that I have the opportunity to slow it down a little bit. If you want the European, African formats in here, then you can show the PAL formats, like this is like the actual 25 frames per second, 50 frames per second, those kind of things they do over there, and it's slightly different format for the PAL. Do you want HDR video? I cannot recommend it. So if you want the best picture quality uploaded to YouTube, you would do HDR, but you would have super large file sizes, and your computer is not going to make this so easy unless you have a Mac, like an iMac or whatever, where you can deal with this HDR thing. If you do a direct upload, so if you use the file what this thing generates and upload it to YouTube directly, then okay, then HDR video. If not, keep your hands away from this if you don't want to stress out your computer with it. Okay, so that's what that is. You see down here, I think it says lock camera. That has only to do with those many cameras you have in the back here. You can see I have like 3 on here on the Pro. It can switch between those cameras while you're recording. So that is maybe not something you want. Let's say I record by accident here in this upright format. Okay, and I meant to have the camera not in portrait. I want this like recorded like this. Okay, look at this, it's coming off. My magnet back here does not keep the camera on. Because of my case here. That sucks right in this format, look at that. So, and then you can record in this format too, here. Landscape, right? And if you want to find your videos, the videos you just took, if you want to find them very quickly, click on here. This is the landscape we took, and here is the upright video we took. If you need to edit this video, you go in here, and if you have to turn it around, here, then you can click on this button down there, right? And then up here, you just put it back in landscape where you wanted it to begin with. Do that. So now this is also in landscape. This one or this one. This landscape or upright thing can happen sometimes. It does happen, you know. That's possible. You know, when you start the recording too early by accident and the phone is not rotated yet, or if you hold it down at something, or it's not a very clear indication about the landscape or not, that can happen sometimes. Okay, now if you're out of this thing and you don't know where is my videos, where are my videos gone, they will be here in Photos. In Photos you have down here those buttons. You can look at your library, that's all of them. You can look in your albums if you created one. Up here I go back to created albums. The recent ones are here. You can search for it, for moments, places, whatnot. Albums, library. Here, what happened today, for example. Everything I took pictures of today. All photos, month, years. You can see all photos in here. All photos I took. Right? So I hope that helps you out in finding your videos and do some settings on the iPhone 12 Pro in this case.